Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for today's show. This is a tough one to take. Looks like the honeymoon period has come to an end for Liverpool, an honest lot, as Nottingham Forest burst our bubble with a 1-0 victory at Anfield. So let's discuss the key moments of the game, and I'll also present my player ratings. Also, this is a calling show, guys. So if you'd like to come on and have your say, I've pinned the link in the live chat. Everyone is welcome, so I'll present the callers after the player ratings. So let's talk about the key moments of the game. First half, the game started in a very flat manner from a Liverpool point of view. No real pace or intensity in the build-up play, but plenty of possession against a side who pretty much parked the bus from the opening whistle. Liverpool were very close to opening the score sheet as Luis Diaz nicks the ball off Yates and drops him to the ground. He dribbles infield, hits a low shot, but unfortunately his shot hits the inside of the post and rebounds away from the goal. McAllister then produced an inch-perfect pass with the outside of his foot towards Jota, who was literally a couple yards away from goal, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make a lot of contact. He ended up hitting his knee, but for me, he should have done better with that opportunity and should have scored. Moments later, Van Dijk has a half chance with a header from a corner kick, but his effort just goes wide. McAllister was very close to breaking the deadlock with a header himself. A great cross from Trent Alexander-Arnold for that one, but it was saved by Sells, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper. Personally, I think McAllister should have done better with that effort. He did have quite a bit of the goal to aim at. A better execution was needed there. Then the Forest keeper almost had a moment of calamity as he catches the ball from a Luis Diaz header, but somehow it goes through his legs and behind him and still manages to avoid the embarrassment and catches the ball just in time before it goes past the goal line. I can't lie, at the time I actually thought it went past the goal line for a goal. In the second half, the Forest manager Nuno Espirito Santo brought out the big guns in Elanga and Hudson-Odoi, and that was definitely the game changer. They instantly caused havoc to the Liverpool defence, and it didn't take long for Forest to open the scoreline. Elanga, charging down the right-hand side, hits the ball across field towards Hudson-Odoi on the left wing. In trademark fashion, he cuts in, creates half a yard for himself, and whips the ball towards the goal, posting in. And unfortunately, nothing Alisson could do about that goal. For me, poor defending from Bradley. I know he just came on as a sub, but to give him that much space and you know what kind of move he's going to execute, should have been marking a lot more tighter, in my opinion. And I'll be honest with you guys, as I did the watch along, deep down, I didn't think we would get the equaliser. We were a shadow ourselves today, and it's such a shame as we started the season so well. Now, look, I'm not here to make any excuses for the team, but I do believe the interruption of the international break definitely affected the team's performance. We were sky high a couple of weeks ago, and that layoff disrupted our flight, and the momentum has certainly shifted. Of course, it's always disappointing and frustrating to lose a match. But having said that, I don't feel angry the way I've seen some fans express themselves online. It's just one game. It's literally just one game. It's not really a big deal. We've hit a bit of a turbulence, to go with my sky high analogy there, on our road to success. And that's all it is. Some of the reaction for me has been slightly overboard. Some fans already questioning Arne Slot as a coach. I think it's too early to make that sort of judgment. And I also do believe that Liverpool fans, especially down on social media, get triggered very easily by rival fans. For example, United fans, they live for this moment, for when Liverpool drop points or lose. They don't look at themselves. They're quite shameless in that manner. But just because, fans like to rattle us, we shouldn't just, let them affect our mood. And you've got to put context in terms of what's happened today. Yes, we've lost, but you have to give credit to the opposition. They were really good today. They had a game plan from the first minute to be ultra defensive. And look, it might not be the football we like to see, but they had a game plan and they got the job done. They got the 3 points. So sometimes you just have to give some credit to the opposition. And also, guys, it's match week 4. We need to calm down in terms of coming up with crazy statements so early on in the season. We are going to concede goals and we are going to lose games at some point. This is just part and parcel of football. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll read them out after the player ratings. So let's begin with our player ratings then. So here we go. So what we'll do, start with the goalkeeper. I think Alisson was probably one of our best players today. Definitely saved us on crucial moments. I know there was a shot that Gibbs White had that went wide, but it was due to Alisson's pressure. I think led to that wayward shot. Chris Wood also had a shot that was fantastically saved. Debatable if it was offside or not, but for Alisson, he had to be on guard and make that instinctive save. And he's also made a couple of saves during the game as well. So for me, he wasn't below par. He delivered. He tried to make things happen from a distribution point of view as well. But I'm sure, unfortunately, the outfield players just didn't live up to it. So for me today, probably one of our best players. I know it's a loss, so it's hard to say someone's been great when you've lost. But from an individual performance, I thought he was the better player. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Trent, very, very interesting. So I think he started the game decent. For me, the slight annoyance with Trent today was not his sort of defensive play. I thought defensively he was decent today. When Arne Slot made that substitution, taking off McAllister and brought on Conor Bradley, and then Conor Bradley went right back, Trent was shifted into a more of a midfield position. Now, we all do want to see Trent in midfield. I think that's quite obvious. Some fans might disagree completely, but I feel like in certain games he is suited. Like, for example, in the first half, he played as an inverted fullback, which made sense because we were up against a low block. So you do need that extra body in the middle of the park to open up defenses. So for me, when McAllister was taken off, I was expecting Trent to play in the number 6 role in the double pivot alongside Gravenberch. What happened instead was he went up more like a number 10, and Szoboszlai had to drop deep alongside Gravenberch. Now, Szoboszlai might have not had the best games in terms of his end product, but he was energetic and he was pressing from the front. He was trying to make things happen. And I feel like once he got shifted back a step into a number 6 role, I think it kind of took the sting out of his performance. So with regards to Trent, when he was in that position, he had a bit more of a free roaming role in the team. But that also led to him making silly passes and Hollywood passes, as some would say it, across the field. And we lost a lot of possession in that last 10, 15 minutes. So for me, it's not a role that I'd like to see him play forward personally. I think he's more suited as a number 6 where, he gets the ball and he sees the whole pitch rather than being number 10. Because when you're number 10, you're not static. You have to move around. You have to play in between the lines. You have to create openings for yourself. So it's a different game altogether. So I feel like a number 6 role suits him more, where he's able to ping passes around and become a deep playmaker rather than being a goal scorer. That's what you are literally as a number 10. You're creative, but you're ultimately a goal scorer as well at the same time. So yeah, I think that was incorrect tactics from Arne Slot. That's probably the first time I'm criticizing in terms of tactical point of view because he's been quite good so far. But I think he got that one wrong. But in terms of Trent's overall performance, I thought he was decent today. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Konate as well. There wasn't much that he did wrong, to be fair. Some may argue and disagree. Feel free to let me know in the comments. I feel like he made the clearances required on the ball. Yeah, he was all right. Probably not as influential as he has been in the last 2-3 weeks, where his passing has really improved. Today is definitely sticking to the basics. I thought he had a decent performance. I can't say it was at fault of any moments. The goal itself for me was poor defending from Conor Bradley more than anyone else. So for me, he gets a solid rating as well. I can't give him too high because of our results. So he gets a 7 out of 10. And Van Dijk, pretty much the same as well. defense was fine. There was just that one moment towards the end where I forgot on the defender now. He came charging in and he nodded the ball ahead of Van Dijk. And then it led to Elanga going through. He had a shot that just went wide. Sorry, it didn't go wide. Alisson made the crucial save there. So that could have easily led to a second goal. So slight, you know, I think focus wasn't quite there. Maybe because we were trailing at the time. I'm just nitpicking it because that was just one moment. Apart from that, I thought he was pretty solid throughout. So he gets a 7 out of 10. Nothing spectacular, and he wasn't awful as well at the same time. Robertson, however, I feel like he slowed down as the game went on. And you can tell that the engine levels were down. That might be due to playing international football. It probably caught up with him a little bit. Tried his best in a couple of moments where he was running with the ball. But in terms of providing that final ball, he didn't really produce much, to be honest with you. I think he got into positions to help out, but didn't really produce any crosses that I can remember that were, worthwhile or even close to a goal being created. He took a few corners as well, which were all right. They weren't the best corner kicks. So for me, an average performance from his standards. So I'm going to give him 6.5 out of 10. Gravenberch, for me, was probably one of our standout players today. Not as great as he has been over the last few weeks. He's been some spectacular. Today, I can't fault his game too much today. It's just that whatever he produced, nothing came from it, if that makes sense, because he was a little bit more adventurous today, driving the ball a lot more, tried to create openings here and there, produce some nice touches. Really like his first touch. He's so clean when he retrieves the ball. So for me, he had a solid performance today. Probably one of the solid performances throughout the team, not just the midfield. So for me, he gets an 8 out of 10 as well. I don't know why I switched over to 7, but it's an 8 out of 10. McAllister, he produced some sublime passes. That one pass for Jota sticks to mind. But other than that, pretty quiet for his standards. I do feel like the injury that he picked up during international duty might have played a part, as he wasn't heavily involved. Going to a couple of tussles with Yates, he was literally everywhere. He was involved in all parts of the action in this game. So for me, a decent performance. Good. I was pleased that he was taken off, not because he didn't have a great game. I feel like we need to manage his minutes as well, because if he was to get injured, he'd be a big loss to the team. And we've got a lot of games coming up. So for me, McAllister, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Now let's start with Sabozza as a number 10. So for me, I don't know if this is biasness because obviously I rate the player a lot. I feel like he did well today. I feel like he was one of the players that was on a more of a positive outlook. He was the one that was starting the press on several occasions, full of energy, driving with the ball. Still a bit gun shy for me. I think that he needs to improve, but hopefully that will come with more confidence the more games he plays. Final ball was lacking as well. So in terms of his overall game, in terms of, helping out the team and using his stamina and using his energy, he's up there. He's obviously an elite athlete in regards to that. But I just feel like the crucial details with the final pass or the through ball or taking a chance on yourself when you've created half a yard and having a shot on goal, he's lacking that kind of confidence, that spark that definitely made him stood out in the Bundesliga when he played for Leipzig. So for me, he's slowly getting there, but I just feel like maybe he just needs a goal to get that confidence back on track. Right now, he's not finding it. But I thought he was good today. I thought he played well, considering how the game was. I do, as I mentioned earlier on, playing in a more deeper role when McAllister was off for me was a tactical mistake from Arne Slot. He should remain as a number 10. I feel like that would have added a better balance. When Trent came on, we lost possession of the ball quite a lot. which is unusual from Trent's point of view. But maybe he was, asked to be more creative and go for those long ping passes and all that sort of stuff. And unfortunately, that led to us losing control and not really having much momentum in terms of creating an attack. So for me, Szoboszlai, he gets a 7.5 out of 10. Salah had a very quiet day today. Wasn't very active in terms of his end product. His final pass was pretty awful. He wasn't aligned with Szoboszlai at all today. Made some wayward passes. Sometimes he played it short. Sometimes he will play behind him. Like, he just didn't get the time of his passes correct today. Didn't really. He had a couple of shots. Don't get me wrong. Saves you expect from the goalkeeper because they were near post saves. So no. So yeah, very quiet afternoon. Didn't really have much impact, unfortunately. So for me, in terms of his performance today, I'm going to give him. This might be low. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Luis Diaz, kind of the same as Salah. I just don't feel like he was alive well like he has been over the last few weeks. And, there's going to be games where he can't produce that level all the time. But you had that shot in the first half where he hit the post. That was very close. Also had a header that almost led to an own goal from the goalkeeper. But generally, I don't feel like he was involved much in the build-up play. And was quite a lot of parts of the game, in my opinion. So not as influential as he has been over the last few weeks. So for me, he gets a 6 out of 10. Jota was not great, if I'm being brutally honest. Very quiet game today. Just couldn't really get involved. He dropped deep quite a few times, went on the left channel, even went on the right a couple occasions. Just couldn't get involved. I'm not sure what it is, because I feel like the striker role suits him because obviously he's a clinical finisher, but there's areas of his games that he really needs to improve on. So hold up play, linking up, and when to charge forward on a counter attack. I feel like his movement in terms of finding spaces, he hasn't quite got that yet. There were times that Salah had the ball and he's trying to thread the ball, but Jota's just not making that run through the gaps. So he looks a bit tired as well. So I feel like it might be worth rotating him in the next couple of games, in my opinion. I know a lot of fans might differ and disagree with that one. So for me, very, very quiet, very bang average performance. Fortunately, I can't give him anything higher than a 5. I thought he was that bad today. So that is my rating there. Drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. For me, in terms of the match is between Alisson and Gravenberch. I'm just going to give Gravenberch the benefit of the doubt. I feel like he stood out at times. But yeah, that's my man of the match there. So, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. Before we go to the comments, let's also add the subs and quickly speak about their cameos as well. So we had Jota being taken off for Darwin Núñez. We also had Conor Bradley coming on for McAllister. Obviously, I'll place the players in their correct positions shortly. And then we also had Gakpo on for Diaz, like-for-like substitution there. Tsimikas for Robertson, another like-for-like substitution. And the final sub is Konate for Jones. Okay, let's try and figure out where the players are going. So, Trent, Coming here, Conor Bradley there. Just place it like that because I do feel like we went for a back three in the end, and that didn't help. So, okay, let's talk about the subs. Won't be a lot to talk about, to be fair. Let's start with the striker, Darwin Núñez. Another poor performance from Darwin Núñez. Very frustrating when he comes on. He doesn't really have much of an impact. And yeah, I just feel like it's very disappointing whenever he makes an appearance because I don't feel like he gives much when he comes onto the pitch. I feel like he causes more issues more than not because then the team just seem to fall apart. Fall apart's probably a bit strong, but they seem to be a bit disjointed when he comes onto the pitch because I feel like he's got another way of looking at the game where he's got a different vision in comparison to his teammates around him, and they're never in sync and they're never aligned. So maybe that's a language issue because obviously we still know he's learning English. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it comes to a point where there will be question marks about his future at the club because whenever he's made an appearance, he hasn't had any impact whatsoever. But having said that, there's other players that are in a similar boat and they've not had an impact. So I'm not going to say, we should sell Darwin as, we're in September now. So there's no point of talking about selling players at this stage. However, you do have to have one eye on the future. And I feel like it might be time to part way with Núñez in the near future because this isn't working. Doesn't mean he's a bad player. It just means that it's not a great fit for the club. So today, not effective. It is actually more the left channel more than anything else, which kind of occupied Gakpo's positions there. But yeah, it is what it is with regards to that. So for me, not the greatest of performance. I'm going to give him a 4. I feel like I'm being generous with that, but we'll leave it at that. Conor Bradley. Not the best of cameos, if I'm being honest. I do believe he was at fault for the goal. That defending was one where I feel like it could have been avoided for that shot to go into the goal. Just because it's such a predictable move that Hudson Odoi produced. Like, he does it week in, week out. Left wingers that are right footed, they always do that move. So you've got to be a bit more street smart in terms of knowing that he's going to cut in and boom, before he does that trick or before he creates a half yard, let me get ahead of him. So poor defending in my eyes. He's got a long way to go to be a first team player. I know a lot of fans feel like he's ready. I don't think he's ready in my eyes. So for me, in terms of his performance today, due to conceding the winning goal, I'm gonna have to give him a 3 out of 10. Now, in terms of Gakpo, had minimal impact, not as much as Núñez. They were pretty awful, both of them, which is a shame because we've got these one-off games coming up very soon. We've got the Champions League next week against AC Milan. The squad will be rotated at some point, but if it's not, you can't really blame the coach because these guys that have come off the bench haven't shown anything to me, let alone the coaching staff. So I don't feel like it would be right to start starting players because they haven't made impact as a substitute, because you still got to show something to give that coach or slash manager a good headache for the next team selection. Because like, do you know what, he came on, he was quite impactful. Let me give him a start today. Like no one's presented that thing. The only player that has is probably Harvey Elliott, and unfortunately he's injured for 2 months now. So Gakpo for me just very minimal. I don't feel like he had that many touches. I remember him whipping 1 or 2 crosses towards Salah. No real impact. Not the best passes either. So for me, he gets the same rating as Darwin Núñez. He gets a 4 out of 10. On to Simicas. Yeah, obviously he's having to play a bit more defensively. Gave a couple of fouls away. So not his familiar role to play kind of like a left side centre back. Wasn't able to contribute to his sort of standard where he was able to drive forward. So unfortunately, pretty much the same as the other guys who had less impact. 4 out of 10. And then finally, Jones, at one point, I thought Jones even came on to the pitch, let alone had impact on the game. Yeah, I had a few neat touches. I'm just going to go with fours right now because I don't want to be too harsh with my ratings because they probably just had 10, 15, 20 minutes to make an impact. And if I haven't seen anything, I'll just give them a low rating. But I don't want to give them 1 and 2s. I just feel that's a bit harsh. I've dropped down for Bradley to 3 because of that mistake that he made. So yeah, that's my rating. Let me know what you guys think with regards to that. Let's go through the comments now. So big up Richard as always. There are a lot of comments here. It says, hi Ozzy, assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam to you as well, Richard. He says, how are you? How's your family, friends, and loved one? All good, thank you, Richard. Thank you for asking. I hope you are doing well and hope you and your family are doing well as well. He says, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Liverpool, Nottingham Forest 1. This needs to be a wake-up call for Liverpool. You never walk alone, and many thanks. 100% agree. It's definitely a wake-up call, but I feel like it's a lesson for the coach more than anything else, where he's going to have to get used to playing these type of oppositions. We're not going to get teams that are on the front foot against us, and we can exploit them with the space being created. It's going to be where teams are just going to park the bus from the first second of the game, and they're like, "Come break us down." That's how it's literally going to be. So we have to get used to that. We're a Liverpool Football Club. It's been a tactic deployed on us a lot over the years, and some teams have gotten results from us because of that tactics deployed as well. So yeah, it's definitely a wake up call, I would say. Richard also says everyone at LFC that played today's game against need look at themselves, and this shouldn't happen again. They're playing for Liverpool FC. Man City running away with the title already. Haaland scoring 9 goals. Yeah, he's a different kettle of fish in terms of goal scoring. But yeah, I wouldn't say they're running away, but I do get your sentiment because they are normally slow starters and they've started fantastically right now. So yeah, it's theirs to lose. Let's be brutally honest. I feel like they're gonna make it 5 in a row. I did my predictions show a few days ago, and I feel like some fans were probably surprised why I didn't go for Liverpool as number 1. I just don't think we have the squad right now, and obviously we've got a manager who's playing, or should I say, who's coaching at Premier League level for the first time. So it's going to take time for him to get used to different types of opposition. So it's not going to be a walk in the park this season, that's for sure. Richard has also said, can't play like this against AC Milan at San Siro on Tuesday, Champions League first game. We need to get a good start in the new setup, Champions League table. Play rating, everyone below 5. Something to do anything at all. I know I got a bit generous in the end. I feel like giving all of them 1s because they didn't have any impact whatsoever. But I was like, let me just give it a bit respectable because I don't want to be too disrespectful to our players. But no, yeah, I gave 8. So that probably seems a bit high now, come to think of it. But yeah, no one was great today. Apart from Alisson, I feel like he made some crucial saves for us, and then Gravenberch for me tried to make things tick. Other than that, everyone else was below par in my opinion. So yeah, definitely understand your point there. And which is also say everyone was tired from the international break, fatigue, tired, slow, no ideas, no creativity, no plan B. No one wanted it, and we need to change something around LFC. We need new ideas. But that's the thing, you've kind of hit the nail on the head there with your first sentence, that the international break, it definitely had an effect on the team, because I can't remember the number. I think it was 10 players were on international duty from our squad, and that was the highest number in the Premier League. I think the second was 5 players on international duty. So we had a lot of players out playing football during those 2 weeks off. And the players that were at the Access Training Centre, they were youth players or players returning from injury, or a new acquisition in Federico Chiesa as well. So yeah, it's not excuses. I don't want to just disrespect the opposition, because I feel like they probably deserved it in the end. They definitely had a game plan. They've executed it well, and they got the 3 points. So I can't say too much regards to that. But from a Liverpool point of view, I feel like we should be more clinical. We did have chances, especially in the first half. Had we taken one or two of them, it would have changed the whole outcome of the game. But no, it was definitely, you could tell it was just a tired performance from the team. But the games are coming thick and fast. We've got a 2-3 day break. Tuesday, they'll probably have a rest day tomorrow. They'll probably train on Monday, and then they'll probably go or they'll probably I'll probably actually travel to Italy on Monday and then train there. So yeah, it's not going to be easy. This is how it's going to be from now on. So that settling period of the opening weeks of the season is gone now. We've had that international break. Now it's ready to rock and roll and get through the games that are going to be rolling as God knows what. So yeah, gotta get used to it. Which he also said, I'm so angry and embarrassed at today's game against Nottingham Forest. Look, you're entitled to feel how you feel. I get it as well. I do understand the anger and the embarrassment. I'm more frustrated because I feel like we had the chances to get something from the game. I'm not too fussed about the records, and because if Arnold had won today, he would have been the first manager to win his first 4 games without conceding a goal in Premier League history. So that would be cool for him. But we were going to concede at one point, and we were going to lose at one point. I just didn't expect it to be Forest, if I'm being really honest. So yeah, this one definitely came as a surprise. But based on the performance, we probably didn't deserve much from it. And when we got that goal, I didn't feel like we were going to get equalised. I just, I was looking at the minutes thinking we might get something from it. I didn't feel like it was coming. And yeah, that's just unfortunate. Richard also said we should get some players in the summer, like number 9 and midfielder, left side centre back, FSG, our businessmen taking money from club and no reinvest in the pitch issues, FSG out. Yeah, that's another topic for another day. But yeah, obviously player wise, yes, we probably do need to make additions. I'll probably say next year. In the January window, could get a defensive midfielder, but only if someone's available because the market's not really saying much, and obviously some prices will be very inflated, especially if you're trying to get someone of huge stature as well. So January is not really the window where you spend big, but Liverpool have a track record in recent years where they signed Gakpo and Diaz, so can't rule it out. But I'm expecting the management team to forecast as future signings in months time. So yeah, at this day, I probably don't think they were thinking about that. Hopefully, they're trying to get contracts wrapped up because that's more important for me than getting those players. I feel like we need to make sure Van Dijk, Salah, and Trent stay at the club, and then we can build the team around them and add some couple of additions next summer. So let's see what happens in the near future for Liverpool from that transfer point of view. Which also said forwards Darwin Núñez and Gakpo wouldn't have scored 10 million years against Forest. They were quite disappointed when they came on, if I'm being honest. Gakpo hardly got much of a touch, had a couple of crosses. Darwin Núñez kept on drifting to the left. That's why fans are like, oh, why don't we play left wing? He's not a left winger. It's just that it seems to be his favoured channel to attacking. But he's a striker. He needs to play centrally. Maybe because he just feels like he can't find space in the middle of the park, and he's just like, I need to just go out wide, and then I'll get the ball. That means he doesn't have the intelligence to be a striker. And I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say that. Some players, they know to kind of like slow the game down, just walk around, and then all of a sudden, boom, they start moving and they make those runs on the shoulder. So got to be very smart when you're playing at this level. I just don't feel like Darwin Núñez has it, in my opinion. Which I said, we purchased 2 players, one Keza, who's injury prone, 2 Mamadashvili, who's loaned back to Valencia. Just knew something is wrong with Keza. Juventus got rid of Rabiot, Pogba, Dybala, Melo, and Chiesa and others. The Chiesa one, he kind of made his thoughts so public to the management team and to the fans. I think early in the summer, he said that he wanted to move on and have a new challenge. So I feel like that was always on the cards for him to move. That's why he was strongly linked with the likes of Barcelona. But obviously they have their own financial issues, so they weren't able to sign him. Otherwise, I think he would have gone there. In regards to him being injury prone, yes, he's obviously got a track record of having a big injury about a few years ago. But since then, he's been playing a relatively good amount of games. So I've got faith in Chiesa. I know he hasn't kicked a ball yet, but he's a player I've always liked, and he can definitely make a huge difference to this team. If he was on the bench today, I feel like he might have made an impact in terms of our outcome as well. So in terms of Chiesa, I still feel like we've got to give him a bit of time. Wasn't in the squad today. I think he might be in the squad for the Milan game. Don't think he'll start, but I do expect him to be on the bench. And then we'll slowly embed him, and then hopefully he can showcase his talent, and then we can reap the rewards from him, because 12.5 million, I feel like it's peanuts in this day and age. Even if the move doesn't happen, we can probably sell him on for a lot more, if I'm thinking from a business point of view. But from a football term, I think he's a fantastic addition to a squad. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Chiesa. Mamardashvili, yeah, obviously we don't need him at this stage. We still got 2 quality keepers, so it's probably right for him to go out on loan and finish his time at Valencia and then come back challenging for that number 1 spot with Alisson. In terms of the players that Juventus have got rid of, Rabiot, I think is just a bang average player. So his issue's always been more of a financial thing, where he's always asking for a ridiculous amount of money. Pogba, they got offered stupid money by United. That's why they accepted it, and I don't blame him, to be fair, because he was phenomenal at Juventus when United signed him that year. He was really, really good. Hindsight, probably should never move to United, because I feel like he would have definitely made a bigger name. He's obviously a household name anyway, but I feel like his title of being one of the best midfielders in the world at the time definitely would have added more weight if he had stayed at Juventus. But hindsight is a crazy thing to think about at times. Dybala, I think his time just went. To be fair, he had a good spell there, but it just came to an end, and I think he got that move to Roma. So Melo, the hologram, yeah, less spoken about him, the better. And then others, yeah. So I don't think we should look into it too much in terms of just because he's injury prone. That's why we got him on a cheap. It's because he was in the last year of his contract. So I still think it's a good deal. Hopefully, I'm proven right when he actually manages to play for the team. But until then, we'll wait and see. Richard also says, Slot, test start now and honeymoon season is over. Slot, pull your sock out, get the team ready for Premier League, Champions League, EFL Cup and FA Cup. We need rotation, cover, rest, depth, a new system. Players need to pull finger out. That'll happen in the coming weeks. The squad will be rotated. I'm definitely certain of that. In terms of the new system, I'm not too concerned about the system. I quite like the way we're playing the 4-2-3-1. I feel like it really suits the players that we've had. I've been saying this for probably about a year and a half now. That 4-2-3-1 should have been the formation that Klopp should have played as well, but he always stuck to the 4-3-3. I feel like the proper players we have, it suits them to play the system. So for me, it's more rotation now. Try and get the best out of everyone. Remains to be seen if the game against AC Milan is the one where we rotate. And Richard will say everyone is to blame at LFC, FSG, Richard Hughes, Edwards, Slot players. They should do better for the club and fans. We want more at LFC and need to be ruthless. Yeah, I get your point on that one. I think in today's game, we can't really speak too much about the hierarchy. It's more about the players. They just didn't deliver, just looked very leggy and fatigued. So, yeah, it just wasn't our day. We just got to look at that. Sometimes, you got to be accepted to realizing that, it just wasn't our day today. I'm not feeling that angry about it. Maybe I'm just too chill today for whatever reason, but I feel like I'm probably just looking at the bigger picture because I've seen the positivity of his way of playing. I feel like, there's more to come under Slot. That's just my opinion there. Richard said, Slot, stop talking to the media about our tactics and style of play to media like Sky Sports, media, evil and devil. They can make good people into bad and bad people into good. Do not trust the media. You know what? I kind of agree to that to an extent because I was very surprised the way he broke down the tactics in front of the media when we beat United. I don't want him to be that open as well when it comes to speaking about tactics. Just say the PR thing, we played well, we played this and that, rather than giving out details. I feel like that's so unnecessary. So yeah, I do agree with you with that one. Which is next comment. We need more from LFC for our fans. You never walk alone. Justice for 97. We are a working man club. We should fight for everything. Badge, blood, sweat, and tears, heart in every game. Totally agree with that one there. Richard said, give respect to Nottingham Forest. Playing to their game plan. We need to beat these low block teams and have an idea how to break them down and score goals. That is definitely it. That has definitely been our Achilles heels over the years, where we've been unable to beat those low block teams. It's cost us titles and cups and all sorts. So totally agree. Those are the teams, the bogey teams that we just can't seem to conquer at times. But hopefully we're able to find a way in the near future. And I should say, respect to all my Muslim brothers and sisters around the world. Stay strong. Free Palestine. Stop corruption. Couldn't agree more, Richard. Free Palestine all day, every day. And Richard also said the final ball wasn't good enough. No, the end product was shocking today. So Boslai, Salah, definitely guilty of that. Diaz wasn't really even in a position to provide those good kind of through balls. And Jota was anonymous, if I'm being honest. Wasn't impressed with his performance today. And the final comment from Richard is, blame hierarchy, our FSG, Edwards, who's on a slot players. Yeah, I want to look at the hierarchy too. For me, it's just more about the players. I think from Arne Slot, I think tactically he got it wrong with Trent. I wouldn't have played him as a number 10. I feel like he playing him that advanced, it lost a bit of momentum. We lost a bit of balance in that midfield. And it took this thing away from Szoboszlai's pressing as well, because I feel like he was definitely making things happen, whether it's from his pressing or being a bit more further up. Now he had to drop deep, and then that definitely affected his game. So no, wrong sort of tactical change there, in my opinion. But hopefully Armstrong lives from these errors that he made today, and obviously, hopefully the team can do better as a collective, and from a culture point of view, tactically more astute going forward as well. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Richard for all your comments. Appreciate your engagement as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In terms of upcoming content, no content tomorrow, but we will be back on Monday with a double show. We'll be doing a Premier League weekly show where I'll be reviewing match week 4. That'll take place at 10 p.m. UK time on Monday. And then 11 p.m. I will be doing a match preview of the Champions League game between AC Milan and Liverpool. So that will be an exciting one to cover. And then we'll do the watch along on Tuesday as well. We'll have a break on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I'll be doing a match preview of Liverpool's next game. Let me just double check who that is in the Premier League. So Liverpool will be facing Bournemouth, and it's a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff. So I'll be doing a match preview on Thursday night, most likely around 10, 11 p.m. as well. So best thing to do is hit that notification bell so you'll be aware when I've uploaded the stream and then what time I'm going live. Also follow me on social media for all the latest updates. So you can follow me at Aussie.ftp on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Not on X at the moment, but I'll probably be creating some new accounts there. I've had a couple of issues for whatever reason. So I'll be back in X shortly. And yeah, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know it's not the best of evenings to conclude. Yeah, onwards and upwards. We've got a big game coming up on Tuesday. Let's look forward to that now. So as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak to you all on Monday. Goodbye.